Okay, so this is take 9. Um, this this behind the scenes video is covering a Photoshop session that I did a couple weeks ago that lasted about like an hour. And during video editing, I was able to cut this down to about 5.5 minutes or so. Basically, I just wanted to walk you through a few things that I did with the background in particular. I pulled 3 images from Adobe Stock, and you're going to see a little bit of that in this video, just searching for those. Uh, 2 of those images were like more like fog-based images, and the third one was kind of like a sparkle effect, almost like, if you were to take a light source and you got like some of kind of like, the little particles that you see around the light at times. Those were the 3 kind of images that I pulled. This first half of the video is covering the background, and I took 2 of those stock images, the sparkle and the first of the fog images, and I wanted to make them blend into the background in a way that didn't look like I just straight up just copied and pasted. And so what I did was I changed the color to match the sword. So basically my vision for this was I wanted to add some kind of sparkle effects coming from the sword. Almost like the sword is in motion and you got like light coming, kind of like light bouncing off of the fog around it. And you can see like the little wisps of light in a sense in the background. And I didn't really know how to do it in a way that wasn't going to be manipulating stock images. And I haven't worked with stock images since I first was learning how to do video or photo editing with GIMP, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And I didn't know if I was really going to be able to pull it off. But basically, I just took some time, just learned how to do it in a way that would make sense for me. And, I just had to stay patient with it. I changed the color to match the swords to kind of like a light blue. I took some motion blurring effects just to stretch them a little bit and just kind of fade them in the background. And I also had to resize those layers a couple times. So shrinking, rotating, stretching, just do it in a way that made sense. I wasn't a huge fan of how they came out of the box, so I wanted to kind of get them to look like they were coming at an angle. Second half of the video, we're looking at a third image that I used that I was originally going to incorporate into the background, which is what you see on screen right now. It's kind of like this. It's a very faint image, but it's like a very broad, wide sweeping yellow kind of look. I wanted to throw that in the background and put on some blue coloring to it to make it look like this is the sword's reflection in the fog. I wanted to add some extra volumetric stuff to it. But just with the way that my layer list was set up, which was kind of a headache, just trying to get that to fit in a way that made sense without messing with the rest of the layers and causing all kinds of clashing and stuff and messing with all the clipping masks. I ended up just saying, screw it, let me just add this to kind of like the subject Spartan here, add some extra like dimension around his legs and whatnot. And so what I did was I changed the color of it to match, the overall kind of like warmer color that you see throughout the image. So I copied the color kind of like code from the base image that's at the bottom of the layer list there. I copied the color code for that and pasted that into an adjustment layer that's stacking on top of that foreground fog stock image that I keep mentioning. And that's how I made it work to where it was able to give extra depth to the foreground. So this was most of the stuff that I did in Photoshop for these effects. The rest I did in Lightroom about a week later, so I will go ahead and do some voiceover for that. I've got a recording set up for that. Stay tuned for that. All right, so this is take 1, kind of off the cuff for this video. Um, for this video and the previous one, I did not have a script prepared. So again, sorry if this is a bit rambly, but just kind of going off the dome here. So this is part 2 of editing the background. This first kind of portion of the video here, cleaning things up in Photoshop, renaming my layers, grouping them into kind of folders just to organize it a bit. Because I didn't know how much more I was going to do with it, with this photo. And it had been a week since I last worked with this. So I honestly couldn't remember really what I was doing and where I was at. So after organizing everything, I did a little work with the visor for the subject Spartan, just doing a little bit of tweaking, some burning, some dodging, you know, grouped it together as its own layer using a lasso tool. Not lasso, but I think it's called quick selection. And yeah, just a little bit tweaking with that. And then I got to work with more basic tweaks with the background, but I wanted to add a little bit more to kind of that background fog that I was mentioning in part 1. So, you know, just did a little bit of tweaking there. I honestly can't remember what exactly I did. The video sped up by like 1,000, so I can't really go in depth with it. I don't even know what's going on. But here, you know, I've opened up Lightroom. I'm messing around with some of the custom presets that I set aside, just seeing what works. You know, I just wanted to add some extra warm temperature. I picked a preset, just did some slider stuff, and then in just a second, you're going to see that I use the linear gradient tool that I've mentioned a few times before, just to add a little extra, you know, kind of warmth to this photo and have it come in at an angle, make it look like it's coming in from where the sun is up in the top right corner. Yeah, just wanted to add, you know, a little extra flair to this. This really wasn't too long that I spent in Lightroom. But at the end here, didn't really know what else I wanted to do, so I figured, all right, what the heck, let me just do a radial gradient tool, do a little editing around the sword, add a little bit of extra glow in post Photoshop. And, yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice. Just kind of added it, you know, kind of in that around the leg there, just get a little reflection action going there, and that's really all there is to it. I'm gonna do more of these in the future for more photos. This was a lot of fun to put together, and hopefully this is the only take that I have to record for this, because yeah, my voice is tired. I mean, this is, I think, like 12 takes in total, so yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'll catch y'all next time.